Good evening, Fernwood. It is your YouTuber of yesteryear, Neil, and it's time for us to take the yay train to another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 197 from January 4th, 1977. I'm still getting used to saying that year, everyone. Let's take a look at yesterday, which started with Tom waking up from his New Year's Eve bender, and also after having gotten fired. Heather comes in asking for $3 so that she can go to the movies, and Tom doesn't have the cash on hand to help her out, so he asks her to ask Mary for money. Mary comes in with some juice for Tom that Heather takes, and then Mary has $2 for the movies. Heather will just have to not get the large tub of popcorn. After Heather leaves, Mary says that Tom getting fired might be a good thing for their family as they are able to come closer together, and Tom throws his credit cards in the air, proclaiming that they will be bankrupt by Valentine's Day. They're visited by their new house guest, Patty, who helps them cut up Tom's credit cards and tells them the story of how her mother always told her she would amount to nothing. Mary whispers to Tom a little bit too loudly that they should always tell Heather that she's good at everything, or else Heather will turn into Pat. Pat runs into the other room and Tom suggests that Mary was unkind. Then Mary suggests that she and Tom could go to bed, and that actually sounds like a good idea to Tom and Mary both. But they are interrupted by a telegram that reminds them that May Olinsky is coming to town. Next door at the Shumways, Montgomery Monk is deprogramming George, which essentially means torturing him until he becomes normal. And of course, his idea of normal is to be engaged in society and responsible. From George's side of the picture, he is starving and just wants a ho-ho. Then we are taken for the first time to the Jeter residence, where Wanda is enjoying being a politician's wife again. Merle seems confident on what his political speech will be, but less confident on what has been going on in the bedroom, and that is a conversation that is still unfolding. But then we jump cut to the factory, where Garth congratulates Charlie on the progress that Loretta is making in the recording industry. Charlie says he hasn't heard from Loretta yet, but presumes that she is busy with the recording session. Then Charlie asks Garth point blank if he beats his wife. Garth denies it, and Charlie asks what kind of man could actually do that. Garth responds that he knew a man who beat his family, and that it was his father. Charlie gives some consolation, and the two men head back to work. And then we head back to Lou's place, where Lulu is fitting in quite well, although we otherwise know her as the amnesiac Loretta. There seem to be some sparks between Lulu and the trucker named Mac, who asks her out on a date. Lulu is very flattered by the attention she's getting, and reciprocates, of course. Mac offers her $20, and Lulu is insulted and says that what she has she does not sell, but Mac knows that she needs some cash, so offers it as a loan. After Lulu's jacket is back on, she finds the picture of Charlie, but doesn't recognize it at all, and thinks it might be her father, but she has no idea who the man is. And then Mac and Lulu head out to Mac's truck. And everyone, that was yesterday's episode. You know what we're doing. Let's go.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! I'm sorry, Mr. Secunda, but nobody can go in there.
I seek Benanda.
I know, but Mr. Monk is with him, and he wants to be left alone. No matter what.
Oh, then I shall wait.
Why don't you sit down?
Thank you.
Oh. Doesn't that stop your circulation? You know, I have terrible circulation, and my feet are always cold, and sometimes they're so cold I have to wear Georgia socks to bed.
Ooh, the Grandici does not believe in cold feet.
Oh, mercy.
Or cold turkey.
Oh, let me... Oh, it works. It works.
Do not wonder. Try it.
Well, I'll try. Is that right? I don't want to expose Is that right? That's what's supposed to be over there?
No,
No?
well, sort of.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Oh, my. It feels good. It feels good. My feet are warming up. It's a wonder this didn't help George's hemorrhoids.
It would not surprise me.
Oh, well, now, Mr. Secunda, now that we're all twisted up here together, tell me something about the life in the bogus Edie. Oh, thank you.
It is free. It is love.
Love isn't free, is it? Oh,
Well, there is no price for love, but the Bogaziti is not an advocate of free love.
and then George didn't fool around?
Oh, no. The Grand Dishy is no advocate of fooling around. No, it is a very serious Dishy. I sense your concern, and believe me, I think I could put you at peace. There is a Bogaziti rule that requires marital fidelity.
Oh, well, thank goodness. Are there any other rules?
Well, in order to bring order, the Grand Dishy has many rules for us to follow. All members of the Bogaziti family must follow a daily work routine.
Oh, I certainly hope Mr. Monk doesn't deprogram any of those good ideas out of George.
Hey, fella, why don't you get off the floor and go meet some nice girls?
I'm chanting for my brother Benanda. The vigil requires total concentration.
If you really want to shut everything out and escape reality, you ought to give senility a try. It's not really all that different. You don't hear anything, and you babble to yourself a lot. What is that man doing in there?
Oh, is the work done? How is it?
It was a very difficult case.
Will George be all right?
Brother Benanda will be eternally all right.
Martha! Where's my rubber donut pillow?
George is home. Oh, I can't get up. George is home. Grandpa, George
Enough
is
to drive
home.
a man to the hard stuff. Super chunky.
For God's sakes, Martha, will you get the hell off my back?
Oh,
There's strangers around, very strangers.
George.
Mrs. Shumway, remember George ran away and was susceptible to this cult because of heavy family responsibility. If the weight should become too heavy again, he could suffer a relapse.
Well, what should I do?
Well, there are some early warning signs. Absent-mindedness, daydreaming, uncontrollable urges to relax or withdraw, desires to give things away. Or if Mr. Shumway's normal hum should start to sound like a chant, call me immediately.
But George doesn't normally hum.
That he hums at all, call me.
Hey, you, with that funny-looking underwear. Why don't you get a pair of pants and go out and get a job, huh? Huh?
Oh, George, welcome home.
You don't need me anymore.
Or me either.
But I think you could use my help.
Hi. Do you have a job interview?
No, why?
Well, you're all dressed up.
Oh, yeah, I guess I am. I guess I didn't even realize it. I just, out of habit, thought I'd get dressed up because I thought I was going to work.
No interviews.
Oh, not today, no. No. But I just started to make calls, and anyway, I'm not in any big rush. Something will turn up.
Oh, of course it will. I mean, it always does. Look at Daddy, he turned up. What do you mean you're not in any big rush?
Well, it's kind of nice having a little free time, I like it.
You do?
Yeah, sure thing. Don't you?
Not with Pat and Philip around.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had a chance to check outside today? The skywriter's been at it again. Only they changed the message a little. You know what it reads now? Foreplay is fair play now. And they underlined the now.
What does that mean, now?
Well, I don't know. I guess it means today.
You're wrong. Probably tonight.
You know, Mary, I don't like that. She knows too much.
I agree with you, Tom, and she couldn't possibly have heard it from me.
No, I guess not.
Have you seen Pat or Philip this morning?
I mean, when are those people going to leave the house, huh? I mean, I am getting sick of sleeping on the couch. I want to enjoy my unemployment in my own bed in my own wife's arms.
I was in your arms, Tom. I just fell on the floor in the middle of the night and decided to stay there. It seemed simpler. And anyway, you don't have to worry. They're not going to stay here that much longer. I am sure that Pat will make a very definite decision very soon.
Mary, we've never even heard Garth's side of this, and it's wrong to interfere in other people's marriages anyway. I hope that's Garth Gimble now, and he can take his family home with him.
I don't think it's him, Tom. He locked him and his family out of his own house. Although, maybe it is him. You know it is. It's probably Ma, or Pa, or Kathy, or Grandpa. May! May!
Hi, Mary.
Hi! Well, don't you look terrific? Just so high fashion, and you're still so tall.
Yeah, it's perfect for flying. Yeah, it's me up there every day, scrolling across the skies of Fernwood in my rented little Cessna.
Can I ask you a question? Does F is F mean what I think it means?
It depends on what you think it means.
Well, I think that it means that if a man gets very close to a woman, that he has to do a lot of stuff ahead of time, you know, to make the whole thing worthwhile for her. Otherwise, it's very difficult for her to come in.
All right, now, wait a minute. Don't I even get a hello or something?
Oh, Tom, I didn't see you. How have you been?
Oh, God, fine. How are you?
Oh, great.
Good.
Swell.
Well, look, I gotta get going. I gotta get to work, so I'll see you, Mary. I'll see you, and bye-bye, May.
I would like at this time, May, to apologize for Tom's lousy mood. Boy, it's so good to see you again. I mean, I can't believe I feel this way, you know, considering you broke bread with my husband and all, but it is good to see you.
Oh, I'm so glad you feel that way, Mary. Because what's done is done. And all I want now is to be good friends with you.
Okay. We'll be good friends. So would you just tell me, does is fair mean what I think it means? I mean, what I was whispering about over there before?
Well, not exactly. You see, it's all tied in with that sex questionnaire I sent to all the women of Fernwood. It's a watchword of a campaign I hope to start here in Fernwood and then sweep the nation. A campaign that will lead to the physical/sexual awakening of every single woman in the entire universe.
Are you saying that it's up to us women in Fernwood to arouse all the women in the world? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Good. Because I got a lot of laundry in there today.
Brian, I'd really rather not do this.
Look, let's keep practicing, Kath. It won't be much longer. Listen, you're really very brave and also very kind to share this beautiful and tender time with Christine and me.
I feel terrible. I have been sick all day. Why on earth can't morning sickness cease at the stroke of noon? Why don't they call it what it really is? Misery.
Kathy was just saying the same thing.
Brian, Hand me Kathy's pillows. My back is killing me. Bri, look at my knuckles. I think I'm getting arthritic. Why couldn't this have been an easy birth?
Christine, aren't you taking the sharing thing a little bit too far? My knuckles are fine. And I'm the one who's having the baby.
I am in no mood for intellectual rationales, Kath. Posit your theories from here until doomsday. I still know how I feel. I feel quite terrible.
Well, perhaps you should go back to bed, dear.
I will not. Let's do our breathing exercises.
We have done our breathing exercises.
Well, we should do some more.
We don't want to do any more. We are pooped.
Well, I'm the sort of mother that's never too tired to do things for her baby. Brian.
What am I supposed to be doing?
Hey, why don't you look at this book of baby names? You have a favorite, Kath?
John. I've always liked John. It's simple and really nice.
I will name my own baby if you don't mind. Thank you very much. How could you be so inconsiderate? Besides, who ever heard of anything so plebeian as John Adams? My baby is going to be more than just Mr. John Q. Public.
How about John Q. Adams? That's catchy.
How dare you be so frivolous? I can hardly stand up and you're teasing me.
Look, relax, Christine. Kathy was just kidding. It's just a little joke, right, Kath?
It's a big joke, isn't it, Christine?
This is no joke. I ache, and I am nauseous, and I feel exhausted, and I look like a whale. Last night, I couldn't even find my belly button.
She's serious. I mean, she is really serious. She's almost as pregnant as I am, give or take.
Listen, Tom, I'm really sorry to hear that you're camping out on the couch down here because of a silly misunderstanding between Patty and I hate to sound harsh, but I am surprised that my wife could not only wreck our home, but disrupt our neighbors, too. I guess some women are just over-emotional.
Yeah. Listen, I hope you don't think we're sticking our nose in anything, but we're just interested third parties, you know. We're not referees or anything like that.
Sure, I understand. Yeah, Patty's a very high-strung girl. I guess she just needed a change of scene to kind of think things over, you know. She's been cooped up in the house a lot lately. Hope she hasn't been too difficult, like hysterical or anything.
Oh, well, you know, she gets a little dramatic, you know, but I guess she was pretty upset.
Yeah, ladies misunderstand our strength, you know. Sometimes they get frightened and they think it's aimed at them.
Yeah, they don't understand that we're just letting off steam.
That's right. And Pat may misread these signals, you know, and before you know it, we got ourselves a little problem. Like this time. By the way, she didn't say anything about it, did she?
Oh, no, she didn't go into any details, no.
That's good. I wouldn't want her imposing on your kindness by plaguing you with all the details. Like the fact that she wants me declared an unfit father.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, she didn't say anything about that fella from Akron she almost ran away with, did she? Good. Yeah, what good would it do to rake up that old chestnut? Boy, it's better forgotten.
Oh, my God, I can't believe that.
Yeah. It's not a very pretty story. I'll admit that. It's pretty grim, but hey, she's my wife, and I love her.
I mean, from Pat, I can hardly believe that, you know?
Yeah. Hey, pal, do me a really big favor, okay? Just forget we had this little talk. You know? As long as Pat and little Garth, hey, he's quite a kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
As long as Pat and little Garth are in a safe place, hey, I'm cool.
Okay, yeah. Listen, do you want me to tell Pat that you were here?
86, Tom. I don't want to bother you anymore or her. I want to let her work this out at her own pace, you know? I love her, and I don't need to hear her say she's sorry. I know she is. She always is. Yeah. Hey, there is one more thing you could do for me if you would.
Sure.
Could you give this to Pat? It's her favorite nightie. Well, She doesn't sleep very well without it. And I just don't think I could catch my Z's if I knew that Pat couldn't.
Mary?
What?
I'm worried about Garth.
Oh, Pat, don't worry about him. He can't hurt you while you're here. Or can he?
No. I'm worried. I'm not being fair to him.
Not fair?
Maybe I should call him just to make sure everything's all right.
Oh, no, Pat. No. No, the phone is a dangerous instrument, and he could get carried away.
But the plants didn't hurt me, and maybe he'll forget to water them.
No, just leave the plants alone. If the plants want water, they'll take it, okay? Could I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Why do you let him beat you? I'm just not sure that's healthy.
I don't know. Maybe for the sake of our family. It's not always bad. You know, and it's not as if it's always bad. We have lots of fun, too. But when things are bad, I always feel that it must be my fault. That I'm the failure. And sometimes I think I maybe deserve it.
Oh, Pat, you're such a good person.
I know. That's why I try to be so good to Garth. By being there when he needs me. When his world is crumbling and he needs to express his anger.
That's interesting. That sounds so right, and that sounds so wrong.
No matter what, though, I can't stay here forever. Garth has taken care of me ever since we first started dating. And what about Philip? He needs a father.
I agree, but a different one.
I'm confused.
That's funny. I'm hardly not confused at all. Let me ask you a question. What did it feel like when you hit him?
It felt good. Just like in my dreams. Where I beat him up. And I lock him in a closet. And I trap him in a burning building. And spit on him. And kill him. You always hurt the one you love.
Oh, is that true, or did you just make that up?
Garth made that up.
Oh, that's interesting. How would you do it?
Do what?
Kill him.
I can't imagine. Well, I suppose I can imagine. But I wouldn't do it. You know, the brakes on our car are already loose. No better. There's a gas leak in our water heater. It wouldn't take much to blow the whole place up to smithereens.
What if you got caught?
Mary, I'm not going to really do anything. This is just a silly fantasy.
I love explosions. You know what I was thinking? You take a can of shaving cream and you put it in the furnace, and then you lock Garth into the basement, and then the can gets so pressurized that it just goes boom. And you know what you have? Headline. Man gets killed by shaving in unsafe area.
Or hide a razor blade in his collar so when he buttons his shirt...
Oh, no, that's awful. Something much simpler than that. Just go buy him a dog with rabies for his birthday. Oh, is this sick? How often do you think about this? How often do you think about getting rid of Garth? I mean, on a purely whimsical level, of course.
I'm ashamed to tell you how often I think about it, Mary.
Mysteries are revealed and seeds are planted. And wow. So we start with Martha and Secunda looking in on Venanda and Montgomery Monk doing their torture. Secunda shares some techniques with Martha that maybe don't go quite so clearly, but then Grandpa Larkin comes in and kind of mocks them a bit, and George comes out being his old self, which might be more relatable, but not an improvement. George wants his old banana pillow and finds it. I'm glad that they've got their table back. George is back to his old awful self, and while there were moments of George being lovable, he was mostly just a jerk. Montgomery Monk assures George that this is normal and that Martha should not give George extra feelings of responsibility. And I wonder if this is, now that I'm looking at this show a bit more, we've talked a bit in the comments about how feminist this show is, and some of this is criticizing the dichotomy of the husband-wife relationship as it was seen from the early 20th century until here, where men were seen as the breadwinners and women were seen as the housekeepers, and how much responsibility was on the man's back. That was the vision of it, right? Because everyone ignored all the responsibility that the wife had in this model. And it appears that that model is being criticized in a few of the other storylines. For instance, Mary and Tom and Garth and Patty. That topic is coming up. This show is certainly creating a conversation about how these roles work. Now, I won't say that I know better. In the decades since, the responsibilities for bringing money into the home have been more often split. Although we still have stay-at-home moms. I know several months ago I was asking where the phrase housewife went. Well, that has been replaced by the stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads of today. For a long time, or I think in many households, both partners have jobs and both partners take care of the home. That's a little bit more of a modern model. And I feel like that was starting to arise by the 1980s. I don't really know what the picture of it in the 1970s was, but it seemed like that was a big change going on. This show is building this conversation. You know, it's planted this seed, as I mentioned, for how we talk about the responsibilities in a partnership. And when I say partnership, I mean a marriage. And it is not even beginning to address relationships with more than two partners, but that's a further discussion. That's down the line. Not in the show, but somewhere else. And then, yeah, we see Tom, who is so used to dressing for work that he is dressed up on a day when he doesn't even have a job interview. Mary questions him about that. Tom is enjoying just a little bit less pressure and time to have some lovey-dovey with the wife. And we learn the mysterious identity of the Fernwood Skywriter. It is May Olinsky, and May Olinsky has started a campaign with the survey being part of it, and I had wondered, you know, if the survey was related to the skywriting. Yeah, foreplay is fair play now. I don't know if now necessarily adds any meaning to the foreplay is fair play bit, but May is on a campaign to build a conversation about women's sexual pleasure, and I'm all for that, to be honest. Mary is still, of course, uncomfortable with the conversation in general, so we'll see how far it gets. But I do love that the conversation about how women can enjoy themselves sexually is starting. And I don't really know what the 1970s conversation looked like in the public sphere. Nowadays, it's a lot more open. There are sex educators who have so much information available. There are great websites out there. There are resources. And it's not hidden the way that it would have been in the 1970s. So we've come a little bit of a way. And I wonder if this show helped some people figure some things out. Then we get a brief scene with the Adamses and Kathy, and Kathy is, of course, miserable because, you know, pregnancy is tough. I'm not belittling that, but then Christine comes out and seems to be having some sympathy pains, or she is actually pregnant but doesn't know it because she is also miserable. And I don't understand what that means. I'm just gonna guess that she might actually be pregnant. Kathy is incredulous at seeing this and thinks it's a show, and it might be because, you know, we don't have any actual medical confirmation of anything at this point. It's just Christine is miserable and Kathy wonders why she's miserable. And then we cut to a scene with the Hartmans and the Gimbles, Garth gaslighting Tom. We had seen in the comments mentions of Garth playing the part of the abuser to a T and gaslighting and parading around in public, and that is definitely what we are seeing. And I mentioned yesterday that Garth has his own trauma, but his ability to hide from that trauma is apparent. And we talked over the last few weeks about intervention, right? Someone coming in between, and in this case it is the Hartmans, but Tom is a bit sick of having people over. Tom also sides with Garth in terms of the responsibility issue, right? How much pressure is on husbands in this model of a marriage. And also he's being gaslit about things that Patty has never done in front of us. And then we cut over to Patty and Mary. Visions of violence regarding Garth. Now, I know we have some commenters who want Garth to meet a violent end, and I understand that. However, most plans for murder end up badly for the murderer. Sorry, I don't know if there's a mathematical statistic behind that, but I've seen a few too many videos of how murderers get caught. Don't murder someone. Generally my advice. Don't be murdering people. And to talk about it, to humor the fantasies, well, that could be trouble if something bad happens to Garth. Mind you, this is between two friends, but that's how this goes. I certainly want Patty and Garth to be separated, but Pat misses Garth and still feels feelings for him. And this is where things get complicated. Mary and Tom do not have the resources, and I don't mean money. They don't have the emotional resources or any kind of tools for understanding what's going on around them. And Tom is, of course, being gaslit, and Mary is feeding into the violence of the situation. I think Mary's recommendations for heightening the violence aren't helpful, though they may help Patty feel some kind of power in her situation. I feel like fantasizing about murder is dangerous, and there's no good side to that. I hope that something better will happen. I don't know. It's a soap opera, so probably not. Everyone, that was our Tuesday episode of Mary Hartman, the second episode of 1977. We've got a big week ahead, apparently. I've got a lot of churning in my chest right now. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing what you do, leaving the comments down there and starting those conversations. We will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.